What's happening? You're muted.
You are the host. If you want to let me be host, I can start letting people in.
Yeah, just let everybody in.
You're letting them in?
Yeah, I'll let everybody in.
Okay.
Um,
I'll set up.
do you mean I have to let in the panelists you're talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you could switch the host over to me and I can let them in.
Yeah, I'll do that. How do I switch the host to you?
So at the bottom,
Yeah.
or if you hover over me, you should be able to let me do that.
Yeah. Hold on.
And then I'll switch it back over to you.
Okay. Okay. You're the host.
Perfect. All right.
You're the hostess with the mostest.
Let me let everybody in.
Can you do it?
It's just taking a second for it to register.
Okay.
There they are. Oh, I lost Dennis. I think there he is. Okay.
Coming in hot
There's
from
two
Middleton.
Bobby Martin.
Oh, there he is. There's Lurchy coming in hot. Look, he's bouncing the world ball. He's got all types of stuff going.
No hands.
No hands. This is Betty Gales coming in from beautiful South Carolina.
Hello.
This is Roberto Martino, the best here in the business. There he is. You got Dennis coming in. Cameron, I know, was running. Sorry, guys, we're starting a little late. I had some technical difficulties. So, oh, there's Cam. Came right out of the sunshine. He's ready to go. I hope you have some suntan lotion on finally.
No, you know what these are? This is for my fighter jet. We're going Top Gun today.
Oh, I like Top Gun. All right. Top Gun Maverick.
There you go. Maverick and Goose, baby.
Love it. Love it. We went one year for Halloween as Maverick and Iceman.
Ooh, Iceman. Ice.
Yeah. So we had that going. Okay, Matty Battiata's there. There's Dennis. He's got 19 things behind him on the board. Dre's en route. I'm outside the office. We're having our office work done. So we had some technical difficulties. All we're trying to do is keep up with Bobby's office. So that's the big thing. Is Mitch on here or not?
I don't see him.
I think Mitch had some sort of an event going today in
Okay.
Florida.
Okay. Well, we can do it. It's fine. And you know, the topic today that we agreed upon and that we were talking about, and I think it's a really, really good topic with what's happening right now, was just mindset in this market and how to have a powerful mindset in the market, because you know, you turn on the news and you hear so many negative things every day. I mean, I don't really watch the news because I think it's too negative and don't even get me going on that. But I think it's important to stay positive in this market when there's so much transition, so many things happening right now.
just like that, Pete was gone.
Oh.
He dropped this.
Bobby, do you want to take over, buddy?
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Good,
All right,
thank
well,
you.
Fantastic.
yeah, well, let's go ahead and get started. I know we're about 9 minutes late here. I apologize for being late as well. Why don't we start with Craig up here in the right corner on my screen?
Sorry,
Craig,
you guys,
I know you've been-
technical snag.
I know you've been in the business a long time, Craig, and you've seen a lot of up down markets, and so it's maybe a little easier for you to ride that wave. But think about the agents who've been in the business a year or two or 3 or 4 years. They haven't seen this kind of shift, and it's probably pretty scary. I mean, I think it's So why don't you go ahead and start off first, Craig?
One of the things that I've been working on with a lot of the people that I know, especially coming into the business, haven't been around for a while, is, keep your mindset, understand where your path is, be in your lane, not everybody else's lane. All right. You have your visions, you have your goals, you have your numbers. And then also is setting a routine to it. So if you're going to set a routine to where you want to achieve, set it out in writing, follow it, check it. Like we were all joking about Top Gun. You're constantly moving that joystick to stay straight in that battle fight. And we're going into a war. We're always in a battle. A war of what market? It's just a market. It's not a bad market. It's not a good market. It's not this market. It's a market. And if you keep it as simple as that it's just a market, how do I play in it? It will work. So set a routine, stay to it, check your guidance. One of the things that I'm also working on is I have a power day, which is where I'm really focusing on building the business out there, making my calls, doing all that. Then I put in what is called a calibration day. A calibration day is every 2 weeks, I'm pulling myself out of the reins. I'm pulling myself out of the public, and I'm meeting with my key people to say, are we on path? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing to leading you? And are we meeting our expectations? And then another one I do is a refresh day, totally off grid. Try to go off grid for the day. That's a little hard one. I did that once, probably so far in the past 3 weeks, but that's something every 3 weeks I'm trying to do. So power days a lot, recalibrating days, and then refresh days, and keep it in your routine. And that's how I'm following it, and also teaching other people to do it.
Love that. And I like that you take yourself out of the business so you can help your team or help your business. You can't always work in your business. You have to work on your business at times too. And I was saying to one of my team members the other day, she was kind of down in the dumps, and she's always upbeat. And I said, look, the times where you feel it's the slowest, or you feel that things aren't clicking, that's when the universe is giving you the opportunity to work on what you need to work on, so you're prepared when you have a ton of things going, right? So a lot of people never get that opportunity to do that. And you have to look at it as a positive, that you're getting a little bit of a break, in a sense, to better your systems or your procedures or your game or your skill level, right? And you're working on your trade craft in a way so that when the opportunities arise and the market shifts, you can really take advantage of it. So I want to go from Craig. I want to go over to Betty Gills. I know Betty's been in the business a long time too, and she's coached a lot of people. So Betty, I know how key mindset is and how important it is to be positive, especially in shifting markets, right? Because we know shift happens, right? It always happens. So why don't you expand on that and share with me how you advise the people that you coach and how to stay positive and how to have the right mindset in these types of markets where it's a transitional market?
Sure. Mindset to me is everything. So, I have a psychology background, so I bring that into my coaching all the time. I believe that it doesn't matter what kind of market you're in, that doesn't affect your productivity. So you shift to whatever market it is, and you go that way. So, I believe that it's an excuse. Market conditions are an excuse for people not to do what they need to do. Okay, I'm supposed to make my calls today, but the market's so bad. It's another way to get out of doing what you need to do to be productive. So I also believe you bring into existence with your language. So I coach people and they say, I suck at being consistent. Yeah, well, that's an affirmation, isn't it? You do. If you say that, whatever you say, like, I'm the most inconsistent person in the world. Oh, yeah? So watch your language and everything that comes out of your mouth, everything. I follow Hal Elrod, and I get up at 5 a.m. and I do what he calls savers. And it stands for silence, meditation, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scrolling. And I do this every morning. I've done it for years and years. So that's my
that.
2 cents. Yeah.
No, it's great because I think it is important. A lot of people forget what they put out there is what they attract. So when they're saying, I have no business or nobody's buying, that's what you're going to get. That's
Exactly.
what the universe is going to hear, that whether you believe in that or not. And it's a law of attraction. It's going to resonate or vibrate and come back to you. Right. So that's why affirmations are so powerful, and getting in the right mindset and having an attitude of gratitude and so forth. We're all grateful for what we have. We're very, very fortunate. And I think a lot of people approach it in an incorrect way. I don't want to say it's wrong. And I'll give you an example that I heard the other day, which I thought was really telling. You hear people all the time out in society or even in our business, they'll walk around and say, oh, I got to lose weight. I have to lose weight. And then you meet up with them around 3 weeks later and they say, I have to lose weight. I have to lose weight. Then you meet up with them a couple weeks later and they say, hey, I got great news. I lost 5 pounds, right? And you meet up with them a few weeks later and they say, oh, I got to lose weight. I gained another 10 pounds. Because what you say, it's going to be delivered back to you. So when you say you lost something, the universe is going to help you find it. It's going to bring it back to you. So, the verbiage that this person said to me is you should say, I'm looking to release weight, or I'm looking to release 5 pounds or release 10 pounds, and release it so it doesn't come back to you. I thought it was really clever because it's just play on words, but it creates a certain mindset. And real estate is a mindset mind game. We all know that. If you can control the 7.5 to 8 inches, no matter how big your head is, in between your ears, that's the whole game. It is a game. And you have to show up every day being in service to others and trying to help people, right? And I think it's very, very difficult when we're in a shifting market for a lot of people to stay on track. It's very easy for them to get down, get, disingenuous, to get very kind of in their own way is the best way to put it. But I really appreciate that, Betty. That's great advice, especially with the morning routine and staying on track. I know that you have a psychology degree and it shows. I mean, talk about psychology. I'm going to go from Betty over to Matt Battiata. Matt, in markets like this, now you've been in some shifts before. We know shift happens, right? That's the big saying, shift happens. Does it affect your business, or do you still make money?
I think it'll affect everybody's business, but honestly, in a good way. I'm looking at this market shift as more of an opportunity. I really think a lot of people on this call I'm looking at it from my perspective, and I think that I'll be able to be, I'm looking at it as a good thing, not as a negative thing. And it does help having been through, I got in this business in 99 and everything went gangbusters from 99 until 2007, basically. And so that was a big correction, obviously, between 2007, 2008, and 2012. But we adjusted to it. So I don't think anybody should be looking at, it's all relative. I don't think what we're about to go through is going to be as anywhere near as cataclysmic as 2008, right? But I think you got to look at it as an opportunity. I don't think anybody should be looking at what's going on with the market right now as, oh my gosh, this is going to be horrible. It's going to be so difficult. It's actually going to be a lot of opportunity. If you work with buyers, you're going to have a lot more chances to get deals done, right? As opposed to before when there was 15 offers on everything. It's just inevitable. The one thing I would suggest to everybody on the call is, and for me personally, really be conscious of your health and your time, right? So, personally, I like to get up and surf every morning if I can. I just got out of the water this morning. because it just makes my day go so much better and keeps my mindset so much better and my outlook. And then the other thing is really be on top of scheduling your day and blocking out time, because otherwise you will get, your day will get filled up by not really getting a lot of things accomplished and just by reacting to things. And I know from my experience, when I wasn't blocking stuff out on my calendar, it just takes forever to get things accomplished because you can never get to them because you got people calling you all day long and fires that have to be put out and so forth. So scheduling, I think, is really, really important. So I would say the two things would be, trying to I think it's important to work out in the morning, whatever kind of workout you can do, whether it's Peloton or surfing or whatever, because it just helps you throughout the day. And then also blocking your time out. But to answer your question, Pete, in a roundabout way, honestly, I think what we're going into is going to be a good market for everybody. And I think for me on the list, because I'm usually on the listing side, it's just going to means that I'm going to have to take more listings and I'm going to have to be, more conscious of pricing things right, doing price reductions, because, the market, I was just texting a client just now, the market's gone up so much and everybody wants to get these crazy prices. It may not happen right now. So you really gotta just on the listing side, you're going to have to work harder to get stuff sold.
I love that. That's good stuff. Let me ask you this. Do you schedule in your surfing every day, Matt?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
No, it wasn't a trick question. That was a softball. I was throwing a grapefruit to you right there.
And I usually feel like if I don't get it done first thing in the morning, if I don't get out there and surf first thing in the morning, my day fills up. And before and then also with surfing, you have the tides and you have the wind picks up and so forth. So it always makes the most sense. I got out there this morning at about 6:30 and I just got back here, about 10 minutes ago. But, it's a great workout, but some days I don't have the time to do it. So I'll jump on the Peloton or whatever, but it's just amazing the difference getting your heart going makes,
Here's my question. The days that you don't go surfing or do the Peloton, do you notice a difference in your energy level and in your focus?
Everything. Yep. Somebody, I don't know who it was, they said, the roots of the word recreation are recreation. And you feel like a new person after you exercise. And I had a buddy of mine in college who did a master's thesis on interviewing people and asking them a series of questions before they worked out. How do you feel about your life? Are you depressed? How do you feel about the outlook for the future? And then interviewing them after they worked out. That was his whole thesis. And it was unbelievable because guess what? And I always think of that. You can be depressed, have a negative outlook, et cetera. Then you work out and all of a sudden, you think, man, everything's possible. So really important, I think.
I think that's great stuff. We're going to go over from Matt over to, Ghost Rider. We're going to go to Call Sign Hollywood. Cameron Smith in Florida. He just took off his glasses. He got out of the Maverick premiere. So here's my question to you. How parallel is your mindset to your production in your business?
100%. Not even a question. Matt, you had some great answers there, Matt. And mindset, especially in shifting markets, is the pinnacle and the key. Especially, and what I found is the newer the agent, the more important it is. We've all been very blessed, obviously, in the last 2 years where you can be a brand new agent and be constantly, continuing having 6 or 7 pending. Morning workouts or just having your morning personal schedule. Betty, I loved what you said, where you wake up and you have your visualization, your meditation, your exercise. That is the key to all of us. I think you'll find that everyone here on this panel, or at least 99% of us here on this panel, it's something that's very important to us. And if you're not doing it right now, you need to. I uploaded a really simple 15-minute schedule that you can start time blocking with. I'm going to upload it again right now. It's simple. You just print it off, you throw it away at the end of the day, but it allows you to set your morning from 5 or 6 whenever you wake up to really your start of your business morning. And it allows you to accomplish things that if you don't have them planned out, like Matt was saying, you just all of a sudden lose time, you waste 15, 30, 45 minutes, and now that free time that you have created disappeared. Morning exercise, you guys, is key. It starts off your whole day. It also makes it so you have to, get ready for your work day. As simple as that sounds, I know that when I was starting real estate, I kind of lounged around all day, and you can't do that. You need to be ready as soon as your day starts till the day you end. And when you're ready, the universe attracts to you. I mean, we all know that when you're ready and you're ready to run out for showings, or you're ready to get that listing call, they happen. When you're not, they don't. One of the biggest things for newer agents that I have found during the market shift, at least 2 years ago when the pandemic started, was they got instantly depressed. It seemed like newer agents, it seemed like everyone was so high and they were flying on cloud 11 for so long that as soon as we had any turmoil or any kind of challenges, or the market wasn't just producing unlimited for them, they lost all motivation. So that's something that I really want to make sure that you guys are, talking to your team members about every day, making sure that what they say, what they do, what they put out to the universe is positive, and they're conscious on the negative things that they're producing. We all have negative ideas and we all have negative thoughts from time to time, but being conscious of them, it allows you to correct them and allows you to filter them so that you can be positive and that you can keep on that mindset. Because as soon as you get off it and you start going down that path of woe is me, the world is ending, your business is going to tank, you guys. So stay positive. The market doesn't matter. If it's a buyer's market, we're going to be working with buyers. We have the systems for you guys for buyers. I've been doing it since 2004. We got those systems. If the market's more like a listing market, we have those systems too. So you have to work the systems that produce at that time. You have to keep your mindset focused so that you are able to produce consistently. And then if you do those two things, we'll be successful. And that's what we're all here for. The last thing, guys, surround yourself with team members or your broker or whoever it is that is going to give you the mental support when you need it. Even I'm the most positive guy any of you guys know, but there are days that I don't want to, there are days that I just don't want to do it. I call Bobby, I call Pete, I call Mitch, I get on the line with them. And all it takes is that you're great. You're doing a great job. Keep the end goal in mind. And that's all you need to hear. But if you don't have a team supporting you, you need to get one. We're here for you. So I'm always here for you guys. You always can call me. So anyways, that's my mental breakdown.
I love it. Great stuff, Cam. So I wanted to ask you one quick follow-up question. When you were starting out in real estate, how important was your morning routine and what time did you show up at the office?
So when I just started in real estate, I was a know-it-all, of course. I was 18 years old. I would come in the office probably 9:30, 10. Of course, I worked at a very traditional office at that time that was all about the coming into the office with your suit on. And it didn't produce. It was totally different than how we do it today. And I can attribute most of that to obviously the time blocking that I've learned from Bobby. But it was different, absolutely. And the results show. So completely 100% different.
Great stuff. And anybody who's on this call, it's important. If you need help with buyer systems, seller systems, investor systems, or insight, you can reach out to any of us. We'll share everything we have with you. None of us are completely, attached to what we created, and we'll share it with anyone because, as my 8-year-old says, sharing is caring, right? So I'm going to go from Cam over to the best hair in the business, Bobby Martins. Bobby, here's my question for you. We've known each other a long time.
Yes.
When you first started in real estate, what were the most important things you were doing in that market? And did you carry that through to today in the market that we're going into?
So it's a thing called showing up to the office and doing the work and listening to a guy named Pete Middleton in the next office over for the first 3 years of my career from 2002 to 2005. And, success leaves clues. So it's very easy to just kind of repeat, wash, rinse, repeat the same thing over and over and over again. And so I think that's very helpful. But, with mindset for me is actually one of the most important things because my mind is a mile a minute. And I think I'm like this, right? And so it's very easy to go down, you're going down a positive path but it's also equally as easy to go down a negative path and you start thinking, well, what if this, what if that? And I've been 20 years in the business. I've been through up, down markets, did well even during the down markets, but nothing has been greater than this last market. So I'm not going to lie, my anxiety right now has gone up a little bit, but what I've noticed is it's all the small things. See, I think mindset is a collection of 1,000 small decisions that we have to make every single day. And that starts at, should I sleep in? Should I make my bed this morning? Should I eat this pancake and all this other bad shit? Do I miss the gym this morning? All of these things create a path. And so if you say no to those, or if you say no to all the bad things and you say yes to the good things, now you're creating a routine. And I'm not gonna lie, COVID screwed up my routine. I used to work out 6 a.m. every single morning, and it kind of screwed me up. And so I've been struggling to get back into that place, still working out, but not nearly as much and not as consistent. So if you aren't exactly where you are, that's okay. You can get there, but it all starts with you have to make a decision on what your life what you want to be. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you aren't doing everything that you should be doing, today's the day to sit down and say, you know what, let me make a plan. Make a list of all the things that aren't serving you well. Make a list of all the things that are serving you well. Then create your schedule based off of what's serving you and what's going to help you get better and make more money and sell more real estate in less time, which is what all of us want. Even our clients, they don't need us working a million hours. They just need us focused for several hours to get their problem solved. So I think the first thing you got to do is create your plan, write it down, and then stick to it daily. And that starts with waking up early, making your bed, skipping all the bad stuff in the morning, going to the gym. I've started doing some intermediate fasting. I think that really helps your digestive system to calm down, and you clean out a lot of stuff. You feel lighter, you feel more energized. So there's different things that you can do. But at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to what you feed your body on a daily basis. And that's food, and that's words, that's your thoughts, who you're listening to. Audible is a great thing. If you don't have that app, get it. You can read a book or two a week by just throwing that thing on 1.5 speed and go for walks every morning or every evening, and put positive things in your brain. But we all have heard, you got to know your why, you got to know your purpose. Use vision boards, look at those things daily, update them. You got to have goals. If there's nothing you want to buy, then why would you get up every morning? And so start thinking about what you need to buy or what you need to fund, your retirement, your kids' college funds. All these things, they go into a plan, and you got to follow it, and that will drive you to do what you need to do. But the biggest thing right now is, wake up call to everybody. Things are changing. They're not that bad though. Don't make them worse than they are. Rates are still very good. So it's still a good time to get out there, and it could get worse, and it probably will. So you have to be prepared for that. Put the work in now. And then when the market does shift, have a stockpile of buyers ready to go to buy properties, because there will be people that need to sell, and that will be a great opportunity to actually help people build wealth. And so there's always a silver lining. You always got to shift to where the deals are. But things are changing, and they will change for the worse in the near future. So we have to be prepared for it. Put the time in now, so that way when it does come, maybe you could take 6 months off and let things settle. Because I think that's what's going to happen. We're going to have 6 months to 12 months of stagnation where people are just not doing much. So we have to be prepared for that. And that if we do that and you have enough money in the bank, you will survive the market. If you don't, You'll be doing a second job at Costco, bagging groceries. I mean, and that's okay if you're okay with that. But anyways, that's all I got to say.
I like it. Great stuff. Here's my follow-up question. Were there times when you were starting in real estate, when the market was shifting? Because when you were in real estate, the market was just starting to get hot. We were getting out of a kind of a shaky period in Southern California because the tech collapse had just happened a few years before. So people were really kind of standoffish on things. How did you keep your mindset moving forward and asking for the order?
I think I burned the boats. When I got into real estate, I didn't think about is this going to work? There was no backup plan. I had to make it work, and failure is not an option. That was something that I'd posted up everywhere. Failure is not an option. So I just wouldn't allow myself to fail. So, you just have to show up, do the task. It's a bunch of small things. It's getting back to people quickly. It's showing respect to them, and don't go through the motions. That's one thing that experienced agents tend to do after a little while. They go through the motions and they forget that this is the first time that someone might be doing a real estate transaction, and sometimes they get shuffled through the system too quickly without taking the time to get to know them, get to know their needs. So it's really just getting back to the basics right now, showing up to work every day. The leads are not coming in like they were. That's obvious, but there's lots of listing leads. But just think about all the people out there who are, they have questions on the market. So this is a great opportunity to reach out to every single person that and find out, what's your thoughts on the market? Do you have any desire to buy some investment properties? That, are you looking to sell or liquidate any properties that you own? That's how you're going to find business. But the problem is, and this is, and some of you are going to not like this, some of you on this call are freaking lazy. You think it's just an easy pill that's just going to happen, and it just doesn't. For 20 years, I've been trying to find the magic bullet that would replace, calling people. There is nothing. If you want business to flow to you generally, pretty easily, you got to reach out and you got to stay in touch with your people. And that means just even anybody, give them a call.
We all just entered the COB, the Church of Bobby. He's preaching. He's telling the truth. That's it. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. We've had a lot of talks there. And you guys, I'm so proud of this guy. I have to just say it to everybody on this call because, Bobby, I was fortunate enough and grateful enough to meet him and play a part in his journey. And the big thing is, there were times that he was down, and we had to have that 10-minute conversation and say, look, you got 10 minutes. I understand. Go for a walk and flip that switch. Because if you don't, it's going to keep snowballing. And that's what most people don't understand. Really understand the difference between perception and perspective. It's really, really important.
Hey, Pete, do you remember what you always used to tell people when they were just feeling a little down? I remember, keep plugging. You got to keep plugging. I felt
keep plugging.
Just keep plugging. It's
Tom Brady. Keep plugging.
One foot in front of the other. Don't quit.
Exactly. So you have to really understand perception to perspective. Perception is how the masses look at things. Perspective is how you discipline yourself to take those things and move it into a positive. That's a big discipline that you want to have, especially in the transitioning market. This is a great market, you guys. There's going to be phenomenal opportunities for the people who want to go to work, who want to communicate, want to pick up the phone and want to ask for the order. Make a commitment starting today. You want to be better than all the other people out there. Make a commitment today to yourself that you're going to communicate better, that you're going to return every call, that you're going to listen better, and that you're going to really be a resource to everybody and anyone that you speak with today, and just take it a day at a time. All right, so I want to go from Bobby. Bobby, great stuff. Thank you for the preaching. I felt like I just got out of church, right? All my sins are absolved. And I'm going over to Double D, Dennis D'Souza. He's got a full board behind him. So that means there's a lot of things happening. Look at it. Everything's on there. He can visualize it. He can see it. Now, Dennis is one of the best systems guys around you guys. He understands systems. Him and Mitch are the systems guys. Bobby's great systems guys too. And, you know, I'm sure most people are, but Dennis is exceptional with systems. Dennis, what systems are you putting in place to get out in front of this market? And what can you share with people? What are your best tips?
So just by raising hands, who's scared of the market coming up? Panelists, anybody scared? I'm not. So this last market we just came from, you guys, was, I think personally, and let me ask you guys, I think this was a really hard market we just came out of. I mean, if you didn't have listings, you were screwed. You're beating yourself up with 30 offers. I'm loving what we're coming into. This is going to be awesome. So all you new agents, don't get freaked out by what you read on news. This is a good market actually to sell in. So you can work, most of the new agents work buyers primarily, not listings, right? This is going to give you an opportunity to show your buyer 4 or 5 houses instead of no houses and have 30 offers and get your ass kicked week after week. So, you know, keep a positive mindset. This is a great market. Matt Battiata did a lot of short sales in 2008 to 2011, right, Matt? I did a ton of foreclosures. I was a big listing agent for Chase Bank. And I can tell you guys right now, what the market we're going into is not going to be what that was. That was pretty ugly. And I'll tell you another thing, my phone would not stop ringing off the freaking hook by agents writing offers on the REOs, okay, and buyers calling off signs. So the whole point is, if you look back in 2008 to 2010, which is everybody considers the worst real estate market ever, there was still a shitload of sales happening. It might have been 10% off of the all-time peak. It wasn't 50% off. It wasn't. Prices went down. Numbers of sales still continued pretty much on their same pace. So keep that in mind. So we're going into a market. It might be trickier. You have to work on your skills. Okay. So don't worry about business not being there. It's there. You just have to go get it. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody?
I think that's great stuff, Dennis. And that's the right outlook, because in a good market, a bad market, a middle market, a transitioning market, there's always ways to do production and to be positive and to turn it into your favor. And you just have to have that mindset, you know.
100%.
And the immortal words of Ray Liotta, who passed away today at 67, who, one of my favorite quotes in Goodfellas, probably his best movie, is, he said it best. He said, sometimes to get what you want, you have to take a beating. And you know something, you guys, don't take it personally when you take a beating. There's going to be a lot of sellers who don't understand the market. It's your job, it's your profession to educate them and listen, because they don't get it. Everybody is talking to them. They're looking at everything. They don't know which ends up. They don't know what to believe. And in a transitioning market where it's moving very, very quickly, you know, in the last 60 days in California, it's night and day different. You know, some of these listings, I have a listing for 7 million. We've had 2 showings in 40 days. That's it. And the seller is really upset. And you know something, I don't blame her. Of course, I would be upset too, because she missed the market. I mean, you got to take responsibility too and accountability. So you are going to take a beating. Don't take it personally. Don't bring it home. Don't take it out on your spouse, and don't take it out on yourself. You have to be really aware of the conversations you have with yourself. You know, Tony Robbins said it best. He said, everybody has a perpetual conversation in their head that resonates with them, that they bring into existence, right? That they focus on. Be aware of what you're focusing on, because what you focus on expands. And we've all been there before when we've been down in the dumps, and we've all been there before when we've been hot to trot, where we could sell anything and we're stringing things together. It's all clicking. Go back in time and look at those times and say, what was different? What did I do differently? It's all mindset. It's all thinking positive. It's all building off little wins. Like Bobby said, you know, little things matter. The devil's in the details, and the fortune is in the follow-up, whether it's with agents or with consumers. The fortune is in the follow-up. So I want to go from Dennis, which was great stuff, right?
I got a few more things.
Whoa, go Dennis. He's on fire
I'm not done
right
with
now.
you yet. So
The South is en fuego.
everybody write this little book down right here. I don't know who's read it or not. The Greatest Salesman in the World. Super
OG
easy
Mandino,
reading.
the greatest salesman in the world.
Yep. Pete, I have a book for you too. I know I didn't have one for you a couple weeks back, but I have one. So this is a great little book. It's about scrolls, and they give really good life lessons, and it's about sales, about the ups and downs in sales and how to persevere. Okay. So it's a great little book. I don't know if any of you people have read this. Okay. Another thing is, look, successful people, they have great habits, kind of what Bobby was talking about. You know, John Wooden, the greatest UCLA basketball coach, talks about that. And our friend Gene Frederick told a great story, and somebody asked John Wooden, how did you guys do this year after year? And nobody can figure it out. And he said, my players have good habits. I ingrained good habits into them. Okay. So something as easy as making your bed in the morning, guys. Some people are too rushed. They don't make their bed. When you make your bed in the morning, sounds kind of kooky, but you accomplish something, a little something, and it gives you a little bit of peace of mind. It just sets your day right. You know, and exercise in the morning, guys. I have a 15-year-old and the kid's on video games all day. And I get him, and he's kind of down in the dumps sometimes. I'll bring him outside and play basketball. After half an hour of basketball, his mood just changes completely. So, you know, get those endorphins going. It's really important. That's a great habit in the morning. So that's what I got.
Yeah,
Dennis,
I think it's great advice. Go ahead, Lurch.
Dennis, Wooden starts something that I remember seeing in a video, that every season when he starts, even with his reoccurring players, he has a meeting and they all sit in a locker room and he has them all sit there with their sneakers or something like that next to him. He goes, okay, these are your sneakers. This is how you put them on. This is how you tie them. This is a basketball. This is how you do. He goes from the, even no matter how many times they've seen it, how many times they've worked with him, he starts his season the same way. And it's the same thing. It's starting your day. And as Peter said, you know, the fortunes in the follow-up and getting hit and punched. Rocky had a theory in his quotes. It's not how hard you can hit. It's how hard you can take being hit and get up and hit back. That's the point. As you had said before, Pete, and we've said this, wipe the blood off your nose. Matt said this before, wipe the blood off your nose, get it back in the fight and say, all right, enough of my pity party. Let's go. So it's all in the follow-up, what you're saying, and the mindset. So
Well, 100%. And I love the Wooden book, right, on leadership. It's a great book. And that's why he was the most successful college coach ever. And there's some great stories in there and some great lessons, right? Everything that happens in life is a lesson. You're going to have highs, you're going to have downs, you're going to have peaks, you're going to have valleys. You know, Dennis doesn't even know this, but one of our friends that we've known for a long time reached out to me the other day and he said, hey, I'm interviewing 5 agents. Who would you select? Right? To sell his house for $9.5 million. And I said, well, they're all great agents. It really comes down to what you're looking to achieve, right? And how can I help? And he said, well, if it was in your area, it'd be a no-brainer. I would sell it with you. And I said, well, my area is all areas. I specialize in all these areas. I just sold 4 houses down the street from you. But you know, some guys, the reason why I'm sharing this story with you, was I disappointed? Sure I was. But I was disappointed with my communication and my connection and my follow-up. And it taught me a very valuable lesson. People don't know what you're doing. All right. It's all perception. So when you sell a house, broadcast it, announce it, get it in front of them, reach out to them and say, hey, I just sold another house down the street. I still have 5 people looking. Who do you know is looking and move in this neighborhood? Reach out to them, ask them how their life's going. What are they doing? How can you help them? And just be from a place, from the heart, from kindness, and being in service to others. I think that's super, super important. And you have to keep a schedule. You know, I try to teach all the people that surround me, and I'm included in this, right? I never exclude myself, that you have to have a really solid morning routine. It should consist of 4 things: activation, meditation, inspiration, and education. Okay. Activation, go for a walk, get your heart rate going, work out, go surfing, go golfing, do whatever makes you happy for 45 minutes. Even if you do it for 15 minutes, just get your body in motion, right? Motion creates emotion. That's activation. Meditation, I use something every day that I'm trying to get better at, and it's called center point. CENTERPOINTE. And center point is a brainwave meditation. It's called the dive. That's what it's called. And it's supposed to rewire your brain and help your brain grow and help you get in a more positive and controlled manner, right? Because that's what a lot of us need. I do that for 15 minutes every day. After that, you guys, you can throw anything at me. And I'm as cool as the other side of the pillow. I'm telling you right now. So that's meditation. Inspiration is watch an inspiration video. I watch Goalcast on YouTube. They have some great videos. They're usually between 5 and 20 minutes, and it gets me into the right mindset of trying to inspire others. And then education, read an article that pertains to your market or how you can help people or what's trending or what's happening. It could be the financial markets. It could be the luxury markets. It could be anything along those lines that are going to help you with your trade, your craft, know the data, know what's happening in your market, right? Give people updates once a month on how things are trending and where they're trending to. They don't know. The general public, as we already stated, is 6 months behind any peak. They think it's peaking right now. We all know differently because we can see inventory building, we can see rates going up, and we can see people backing off. So how is that a peak, right? We're past the peak. The general public's always past the peak. So that's super important. Dennis, Janice wanted to ask if you would share some of your seller systems. If you have anything, just reach out to Dennis or he'll try to put it online. But I think that's the key, you guys, is be inspirational to anyone, right? Inspiration is watch something that inspires you. Education, watch something that advances your career, your knowledge, or your well-being, right? Activation is working out. Meditation, get in the right mindset. Go ahead, Cameron.
Pete, if you want to watch the most inspirational thing I can imagine, the Kentucky Derby with Rich Strike, right? Long shot. I'm sure you've seen it. Come from the back of the pack, all the way around everyone. I mean, it was better than Seabiscuit. I watched that this morning, believe it or not. And you're right. That's motivation. You got to motivate yourself still.
Yeah, did they show him biting all the other horses afterwards? Because he was all fired up.
You should have. He kicked their ass.
Yeah. Hey, Dennis, Jay Quinn, who is a great agent up in Newport, and he does luxury residential as well as commercial. He's really well versed. Asked, do you have, let me bring it up here for a second because I got to get the chat up. Says, do you use a lead list company and or dialer, and which one?
I don't know. So for seller leads, we use prime seller leads, and we drive pay-per-click traffic to that. Home evaluation leads, basically. If that answers your question.
I love it. No, that's a good answer. I use Mojo, and that's how we track everything, and that's how we get our lists and do circle prospecting. Circle prospecting right now, you guys, is one of the most powerful systems for lead generation. It costs you nothing. All you have to do is stand up, jump up and down. Everybody will think you lost your mind and start dialing for dollars and smile and dial, right? Always smile. And that's the big thing. And everybody asks me, hey, if you get an answering machine, do you leave a message? Hell yeah, I leave a message. You know what my message is? Hey, this is Pete. Sorry, I missed you. Give me a call back. I have something to talk to you about. That's it. How many Pete's do they know? Probably 20. If I get that message on my answering machine, I'd say, who? I don't recognize that voice. Which Pete? Who is it? And I say my number twice. I say 858-922-3377. That's 858-922-3377. Who's watched all the shows on TV, Nugenics, all these commercials in between your favorite show? How many times do they say the number? The announcer must say it 9 times. He's like 1-800-535-3333. That's 1-800-535-3333. We're going to help you sleep tonight. 1-800-53. Why are we only saying it once? And why are you only following up with people one time? They might have erased it on accident. I have people who hang up with me. I call them right back. I say, hey, we got disconnected. Because it's a game, you guys. And you gotta, every day you can make as much money as you want in this business. We should all be grateful for that. Everybody else is somewhat restricted in their business. Our business, sky's the limit if you just apply yourself. The problem is nobody wants to put in the work. Nobody wants to put in the work. Get the Kobe mindset, get the Mamba mindset, outwork everyone, be overcommitted, to what you're doing. Don't go to the bar. Go back and practice your skill sets, practice your scripts, pick up the phone, call for 2 hours. Or like I always say to everybody on my team, the magic is in the follow-up. So what you have to do is follow up. And here's the deal. When you get tired, you feel you made enough calls, make 5 more. Because I guarantee you one of those 5 is going to pay off. Don't get 3 feet from gold and stop digging. That's what most people do. Everything you want in life is just outside your comfort zone. Can you push through to it? Everybody likes to stay in their comfort zone. You know why? Because it's comfortable. When you get outside your comfort zone, it's uncomfortable. Humans don't like to be uncomfortable. So ask the hard questions. Hey, Dennis, if I had a great opportunity for you where you could make a ton of money and send your kids to college for free, would you go buy it from me? Yeah.
Sure.
And guess what? If Dennis says, no, I'm not really into it, I'd say, why is that? What's preventing you from doing it? And if he says, oh, I got too many things on, I understand. So which one of your close friends can I call that would like to take advantage of this opportunity? Then see their reaction. Then see how they change. Because deep down, nobody wants to miss out on an opportunity. Matt knows that. Listen, he's not bragging. He's applying for a job. That's the big thing, right? It's a great slogan. Matt's on there floating around. Sometimes they have him up in the air. He's floating around the Star of India in San Diego, right? He's dealing cards at Viejas Casino. He's just trying, he's not bragging. He's applying for a job. He does it all, right? That's the big thing. Who else? Betty, I want to come back to you because you look so beautiful in red. And I mean, I'm telling you, you're like a knockout in South Carolina. Randy must be the happiest guy in the world. All right, talk to me on how you keep a consistent mindset in your marketplace.
It's a daily job. You just have to ignore your own mind. You can't listen to what your mind tells you. You just have to act in spite of what you say to yourself. It's a human condition. So you just have to do it. It's like the Nike thing, right? I mean, you go out and if you make the first call, then you're into it. But if you don't make the first call, you're gone.
Right. Just do it. Do it. Don't make excuses. Just do it. Everybody wants to find excuses why not to work.
Yeah.
Find an excuse why to work.
Yeah.
Have a higher power. Have a higher drive.
I did want to say what Matt was talking about is, the fortunes are made when everybody else quits, when everybody else goes south. That's when the fortunes are made. That's when everybody does well. When the last crash, the people that kept working, the ones that kept in the game, they got all the foreclosure accounts. They got all the short sale accounts. You just, it's almost a good thing. Well, somebody said that, but it's true. We're in a good position right now.
Yeah. And some of you guys, you don't even have to say shift happens, and Betty's right on. Just say we're going into a more normalized market, a more traditional market. Spin it with positives. Don't spin it with negatives. Nobody wants to hear that the market's crashing and that rates are this. I mean, be honest and kind of share the differences, but also be strategic. Really explain to buyers what the benefit is and what is the breakdown in numbers and how does their buying power work and the write-offs work. I think that's really, really important. Dennis, you wanted to add to what Betty was saying, which is great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's just important to have an accountability partner as well. So, to bounce ideas every morning. I mean, Betty and I have an accountability call right after this, right, Betty?
Yep. And I was thinking, I hope he cancels.
No canceling, we're making it. So it's important, right? It's uncomfortable, but you hold people accountable. She's going to hold me accountable. I'm going to hold her accountable. So that's how good partnerships work. So,
and you lift each other up.
Yeah. I mean, lift each other up and, just keep on track because time's valuable.
Jay Quinn just made a good point. He said 70 to 80% of transactional sales are done after 7+ contacts. Right? So remember, the fortune is in the follow-up. Sometimes you may have to call people 20 times. Just keep throwing it against the wall. I guarantee you something's going to stick. Make 200 calls a day. Give yourself rewards for that. Go buy an ice cream. Do whatever makes you happy. you know, but I think you have to do those things. Lurching, look at, he's lurching around his office. You've been in this game a long time. What's your handle on TikTok again? I loved it. What is it?
The ROG, the real estate old guy, sharing new ideas.
The real estate old guy sharing. Hey, he's been through all types of markets, financial markets, Wall Street crashes. He's been through 9/11. He's been through the tech crash. He's been through the greatest financial crisis in the history of life. He's been through tech booms, all these types of things, right? That's a big thing. So what are you doing to stay positive besides eating Philly cheesesteaks? What else are you doing?
I don't do the Philly cheesesteaks. You know what it is? Honest to God, I love being on this call. I have written a page of information down that I'm going to go back and I'm going to put it up on my board. The information I get from this each week drives me even to the next week that I can't get on. If you stop learning, you're dead. If you're not moving, you're going backward. If you're not moving, you're going backwards. So if you're an attendee on this thing, you got to get this to more friends. You got to share it to more friends, because if we're just the ones on the panel, there are many of you that are out there that are better than us that aren't on this panel. We just happen to be the ones here. But those ideas that are coming out are gold. And that's what makes me so excited about the next week. I can't wait to get off this. And I'm going to do a TikTok on 2 of these ideas, digging for gold and stopping 3 feet short. Why quit? Keep digging,
Keep digging.
So
there's gold in them hills. I'm telling you right now. I can guarantee it.
I love the follow-up. The money's in the follow-up,
This is from a guy, folks, that sold 4,000 houses. Lurch is a legend in real estate, and he's learning something every week. So, don't come in here humble and listen to what we're all saying, because we've all been through the trenches and we've seen it all. So,
yep. NSL, never stop learning. NSL, never stop learning. Take the ideas here, you guys, put it out into the universe. Take the top 3 nuggets that you got today on mindset and being positive, and take your phone, and most people have an iPhone, and put it on video and do a quick video and put it out there. Expose yourself, because you never know who's going to see it. And the more authentic, the better it is. The more uncomfortable you are, the better it's going to be. Don't worry about the results. Keep doing it consistently. All right. You don't conquer a 100-mile marathon race unless you put on your shoes and you take the first step. That's it. You got to get going. Everybody's waiting for everything to come to them. Stop being passive. Be proactive. Go get it. Go make it happen. Don't listen to everybody around you. 90% of the people in our society are negative. They all go to the negative. Surround yourself with positive people. When people are negative, just say, I don't have time for you. Not that I don't like you. I'm going to simplify my circle, right? The 5 people around you make up what your fortune is going to be, and they're going to be the people that inspire you. So listen, I thank you everybody today. Great stuff. I love everybody coming from a place of contribution and collaboration and not holding back. Bobby still has the best hair in the business. Don't tell Mitch that, and Matt, they're a little jealous. But listen, this is a big thing. We have to get it out there. Get the message out there that things are happening, and you are the captain of your own ship. Don't steer for the rocks. Steer for the treasure. Let's go. All right. Everybody have a great weekend. Go make it happen. Have a safe Memorial Day weekend. We'll be back here next Thursday, 9 to 10 Pacific time, 12 to 1 East Coast time, with a bunch of other nuggets. And I'll let you know the topic at that point. If anybody has any suggestions, reach out to me, 858-922-3377. The best way to get me, text, then phone, then email. Best way to get me, text, phone, email, 858-922-3377. Let me know what you guys need help with. We'll supply the help, and then you just have to put it into action. All right. See you guys. Betty, you look great. Good luck with Dennis today. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye, everyone.